Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Dr. Mulberry. So today we are going to continue our previous video where we have talked about the identification of each hand instrument. So today we are going to learn about the instrument formula and the functions of each instrument. So first let's talk about the instrument formula, but before that we will see the parts of the instrument. So this is known as the handle of the instrument. The instrument formula is usually written over the handle. This is known as the shank of the instrument. This carved portion is also included in the shank. And this portion is known as the blade of the instrument. And let me focus. This portion is known as the cutting edge. Okay, this is the blade and this is the cutting edge. Now let's talk about the instrument formula. So as you have seen that instrument formula consists of 4 numbers which is separated by this dash or hyphens. So what these numbers mean? The first number, usually given in a 2-digit form, is the width of the cutting edge in tenths of millimeter. That is, if it is written 10 in the formula, then it will be 1 millimeter width of the cutting edge. The second number gives the angle of the cutting edge. So I have just extended a line from the cutting edge and I have drawn a line parallel to the long axis of the tooth. The angle of the cutting edge is found by counterclockwise rotation of the line parallel to the long tooth axis to the extension of the cutting edge. This angle is the angle of the cutting edge, and this angle is given by 360%. That means if the number is written 80, it means the cutting edge angle will be 80 into 360 divided by 100. That will give you the actual angle of the cutting edge. Next, let's come to the third number. The third number gives the length of the blade in millimeter. That means if it is written 8, then it will be 8 millimeter length of the blade. And the fourth number denotes the angle of the blade. So for this also we extend a line from the blade and then we draw the line that is the long axis of the tooth. And in this case also we count the counterclockwise angle from the long axis of the tooth to the extension. So this angle is the angle of the blade. It is usually less than 50 for the angle of the blade and it is usually more than 50 for the angle of the cutting edge. This angle is also given in 360%, and this is the whole instrument formula. Now, if the second number, that is the cutting edge angle, is 90 degree, then this second number is omitted and then it becomes a 3-digit number. So this is the difference between a 4-digit number and a 3-digit number. So this is all about the instrument formula, and now let's move on to the functions of each instrument. So first let's talk about the diagnostic instruments. So under that, first we have this mouth mirror. So mouth mirrors help in the direct and indirect vision in the operatory area. It reflects light and illuminate the operating area, thus helping in the direct visualization of the field of operation. It also helps to provide the indirect visualization of obscure areas of the mouth, for which primarily it is used. Another work of this mouth mirror is to retract the soft tissues like the tongue, cheeks and lips, thus aiding in better access and visualization of the working area. Also, the other end of the handle is often used for percussion. So this is all about the mouth mirrors. Now let's move on to the next instrument, that is the cotton tweezer. As the name suggests, these tweezers are used to pick cotton rolls for isolation of the teeth. It can also carry small amount of the cotton pellets to dry the teeth before restoration. The next item is this explorer. So explorer mainly comes in three forms: straight explorer, curved explorer and interproximal explorer. Here we don't have the straight explorer. The straight explorers are usually right angle to the handle, and they are used to examine the occlusal surfaces of teeth for caries and margins of restoration for any other irregularities. Now we have two more explorer. The first one is this curved explorer. It has a half moon shape, and the exploring tip, as you can see, is right angle to the long axis of this instrument. This explorer is also known as the shepherd's crook. Though this whole instrument is a bi-ended, that is, it has two ends. In one side we have the curved explorer, and in the other side we have the interproximal explorer. Now the uses of this curved explorer is to examine the occlusal surfaces of the teeth. And this interproximal explorer, as you can see, there are various angles in the shank area. So this interproximal explorers are used in the examination of proximal surfaces of the teeth for detecting the caries. That is why the name interproximal explorer. Next, let's come to the probes. This is a straight probe and this is a periodontal probe. The straight probes, which do not have any marking but a very sharp tip, I think I can focus it. Okay, very sharp tip. It is used to detect the gingival bleeding and to detect the cavity. Next comes this periodontal probe, which is of great use since it contains markings. So this is used to measure the depth of the periodontal pockets, the dimensions of the cavity preparation as well. So now let's come to the cutting hand instruments. So the cutting hand instruments are divided into two major categories. One is the excavators and another is the chisels. Okay. So the excavators have three kinds. These are the hatchet excavator, hoe excavator and spoon excavator. We don't have the hatchet excavator here. Hatchet excavators are bi-beveled hatchets and used to sharpen the internal line angles and prepare retentive areas for the direct cold filling restorations in the anterior teeth. Now let's come to the next excavator, that is the hoe excavator. The hoe excavator is primarily used for planing the cavity walls and forming line angles in class 3 and 5 preparations for the direct gold filling restorations again. And this spoon excavator. The spoon excavator have calf blades, as I have told you in the identification video, and this ends are used to scoop, is used to scoop out the carious dentin, and it is also used for carrying direct inlay wax pattern carving and also the amalgam carvings. Okay, so these are the excavators. Now let's come to the chisels. Chisels are generally of 3 or 4 types. The normal chisel. This is a normal chisel used to cleave or split the unsupported enamel. And now we have some special chisels. So under that, first we have this enamel hatchet. It is a special chisel. So in the previous video I have told you how to differentiate between an enamel hatchet and a gingival marginal trimmer. That is, the enamel hatchet will always be straight and the gingival marginal trimmers will be carved. So the work or the function of this enamel hatchet is to cut or cleave the deficient enamel or undermined enamel in the proximal cavities and on the buccal and the lingual walls. Now let's come to the gingival marginal trimmers. I have mentioned in the previous video how we can identify which one is a mesial and which one is a distal GMT. So the works of the GMTs are to produce proper bevel on the gingival enamel margins of class 2 cavity preparation and also to round and bevel the axiopulpal line angle in the class 2 preparations. So this is all about the cutting hand instruments. Now let's come to the mixing or adapting instruments. So under that we have this cement spatula. Cement spatula is used to mix the cements on a wax page or wax sheet or the glass slab, where by one end you can mix the cement and by the other end you can check its consistency. Next is this cement carrier or the plastic filling instrument. So the basic work of this is to carry the cement. By this end we can carry the cement into the cavity, and this is for the condensing the cement. Cement cannot be condensed with the amalgam condensers because it needs very low pressure. It is also used for the composite restorations. Now we have the finishing and polishing instruments. So under that, first we have these 2 condensers, as I have told in the previous video. The shapes of these condensers denotes the classification name of these condensers, that is the round condenser and the parallelogram condenser. Condensers are used to condense the amalgam restoration inside the tooth preparation. Next is the carvers. This is the Hollenbach carver, this is the diamond carver, also known as the Fram's carver, and this is the Watts carver. All of them are used to draw the anatomic contours on the amalgam or any other restoration after condensing it. First one is a burnisher. It's a round or ball burnisher. So burnishers are used to burnish the surface of the restoration. For amalgam, as you know, we need pre-burnishing and post-burnishing. So pre-burnishing is done by the large round varnisher, and post varnishing is usually done by the small round varnisher. So this is all about today's video. So I hope you have find this video beneficial, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you find this video helpful, and thank you for watching.